routine, and then within the week, definitely get her started with what was the company? Red. I'm going to start with that home warranty company.
Nice.
Which one?
Damn, Old Republic. There you go.
All right. So Old Republic's going to be a good one. They're going to be good for your customers, right? Because they actually do what they're supposed to most of the time. I would check with Rely. It's just like the real estate people. No, Rely is the Remax. Remax and Rely is the same company. Rely is owned by Remax.
All right.
It's also
we got everyone in the call. Everyone I invited is in the call. That's awesome.
But they're not going to do as good by your customers, but that's better for you. You know what I'm saying? So
no, that's fine with me. I would rather that be the case.
So you need to get with there's called Choice Home Warranty, right?
Yeah.
You just have to keep your goals set on acquiring the customer, and don't get thrown off by them not approving stuff. You feel me? Because they're going to not approve a lot of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's when you get to pick the ball up and run.
That's why I quit working with them before. Yeah.
Yes.
That's why I quit working with them before. I was just taking the wrong approach.
Yes, that's most. I can show you ticket after ticket between. I actually sat down for 5 minutes, just 5 minutes going through. You can ask Brandon, and I sent him 4 or 5, and like the cheapest one was $7,000 for an A coil and condenser, all the way up to like close to $20,000, where we picked them up.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. So
yeah, I'm excited to start that.
So all of our time is very important, especially HVAC. Dude, every minute's worth a penny for like a lot of dollars for you guys. So I want to make this as impactful. I just want to lay out the groundwork. We're gonna have Lucas going on right here from Alabama, going on for about 20-30 minutes, talking about mindset, and I'm sure he's gonna get more into like why you don't need to grow this massive company. You can actually grow at a reasonable rate and keep a lot of net margin right there. But before Lucas starts, I want everyone to introduce themselves so we know where we're all from. That way we can collaborate, right? This is what a mastermind is. It's when more than 2 minds come together and, better ourselves, right? So again, the whole point of this is so that we all get better and we make more money at the end of the day, have more freedom, and be able to enjoy our life, whether you want to go fishing, go to concerts, or spend more time with your family, or be a millionaire. I know 3 of you. Jim, you're new to me, so I don't quite know what your goals is, but I know Kyle, Lucas, you guys like fishing. Alan Norris, I know you like money, my man. So I want to make sure we all reach our goals. So real quick, I'm gonna have Kyle introduce yourself, where you're from, how long you've been in the HVAC industry.
Yes, sir. Kyle Henry, pretty much Fort Worth, Texas, Empire Heating and Air. And I've been doing this since 2016. I started in the industry, started my company in 2018, and been doing a number of things since.
Hell yeah. Perfect. Alan, and then we'll do Jim, and then Lucas, and then we'll roll.
I'm Alan Norris. You got ears on me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Alan Norris, I'm from north of the Atlanta market. We've been doing this legitimately since 2007. Still a small company, and we're forced to grow because the track we're on is growth and it's unsustainable. So we've got to grow because I can't get any more days out of my days. So we're doing all kinds of different things now. We're doing marketing for the first time in 20 years, and trying to create some content that we can share to gather more attention, because we understand that money follows attention. So we're trying to get some attention. That's where we are, and doing all the things that we do. And it's tough. It's tough to grow. It really is. It's not tough to grow. It's tough to meet the challenges of growth. I would put it that way, and stay focused. So I'm
All right.
always open to listening to what other people have to say. And part of my conversation with Brandon was that my competitors in my market are certainly not going to share with me their success stories. But I find out when I get out in the larger part of the world that people are very willing to open up and talk about success they've had. So we're hungry for that. That's where we are.
Hell yeah. Jim?
Yeah, morning everybody. James or Jim Whitley. I've got DeGeorge Plumbing and HVAC in Scottsdale and Phoenix area, and we've been around. I've been at it for a couple of years now, but the company's actually been around since 1955. Probably similar to Alan, we've never done any advertising. It was a couple of father-son pairs that kind of handed it down a few generations. And my goal is growth. We've traditionally focused a lot more on the plumbing side than the HVAC side. So I feel like we got a good set of like built-in demand if we can convert some plumbing customers. But then also given the fact that we've usually got somewhere around 50 days over 110 every year, AC is a good way to expand. So that's what we're doing. Oh, I don't know why I'm connecting to audio again. I don't know if you see that, but I'm going to go on.
This is
continue.
Okay. Perfect. All right, Lucas.
So my name's Lucas Elliott. I run L&F Services. I've had a chance to talk with Kyle, but I believe he's the only one I've spoke to. And so obviously everybody wants to grow their business, but I want y'all to think about growth as profit margin and not gross, because it's easy to grow your gross number. You can just go out there and just throw money at advertising everywhere and throw in a bunch of change outs at, these huge ticket numbers. But then you're going to end up with bad reviews, torn up houses, and then that marketing bill is still going to come every month. So then your profit margin is way smaller than what you thought it was going to be. And that's the problem. That's why it's not sustainable, on top of like the mental side of it, always being a headache, and always having, a million calls. But I also want you to know there is no such thing as not working in this industry. You're always going to have a phone call. You're always going to have that. But to what degree, So I'll just go ahead and tell you right now, I barely advertise. I don't have the biggest company, but I don't want to scale my company. I don't want my company to be 10 million. And I think Kyle can vouch for this. I think he said he was doing 7 million at one time and was pretty unhappy with it. And I talked to numerous people. I have two friends who they got their company up to 10 million a year, and they sold out because they were unhappy. They're always worried about, mostly I think everybody, and I'd like to ask, you just go around to everyone, what's y'all's biggest fear within your company? I know there's real successful guys that I knew, their biggest fear was someone was going to quit, and it was going to just kill them if that one main guy quit. And or if that main guy quit and took 2 or 3 other good guys with a good case with him, if he started his business and took 2 or 3 people. So before we go any further, I want to ask y'all, what is y'all's biggest fear with y'all's company?
Yeah, I mean, on my side, I think people is one, just because we are small, and like you say, I mean, if you lose a couple folks, your capacity's cut down to nothing, and then that just kind of impacts everything.
That marketing bill's still there, right?
Right, exactly, and
Yeah.
I guess that was going to be the second part of what I was saying was is just cash flow, and we're growing, so every dollar we get is going to another truck or going to a new piece of equipment on either side of the business, and just making sure that I can keep that stuff going.
All right, so we're gonna go around to everybody, but make sure I come back to you about the cash flow right after this. I want to go over that with you, how we can add a lot of cash flow with no market. So.
I'd say for me, same thing. Definitely people, especially at the smaller level. You spend a lot of time and energy building that core team or your core, especially your leadership, and that's. I mean, at this point, I think that's just part of business. It's something you have to be prepared for and have systems in place to mitigate that. And next biggest thing would be kind of like Lucas said, that the problem I had before was we had a lot of growth in a very short period of time. We were going to hit 7.5 million that year, but we just didn't have enough to show for it. So managing that cash flow and that profit margin rather than doing great but still scavenging, that's something I want to avoid this go around for sure.
Right on. What was that, Jim? What about you?
Jim went. I think Alan's
Oh,
next.
I was first. Yep.
Yeah.
Whose turn?
Your turn, your turn, Alan.
So I think the biggest challenges for smaller companies like ours to grow is knowing what that model looks like on the other side.
Yeah, but what's your biggest fear right now?
I
The
don't
biggest
have any fear. I don't have any fear.
of your
Fear
business?
is
You don't.
no fear is a luxury. I don't afford myself that luxury. Is fear is an emotional response to shit that you just don't know.
Well, what's
So
your
I don't
biggest
have fear.
concern?
I have a lot of things I don't know. I have a lot of things I don't know. I'm not afraid of it.
But what's your biggest concern? Is it losing people? Is it not knowing what marketing route to go?
Knowing what the model needs to look like, because I've heard from two of you right now. One number I heard was 7.5 million. One number I heard was 10 million. I know from my experience going out to different conferences and stuff, people that were doing $4 million a year had to put the cost of admission to the conference on a credit card because they didn't have enough cash in the bank to write
There
that
you
check.
go.
You know, it's mind-boggling to me because we have been insanely conservative, and you know, it takes a lot when you're small to outrun your fixed costs. Everybody understands that. But as you grow, naturally those costs grow with it. So knowing what that model looks like on the other side, we crossed 2 million, 3 million, 4 million. Knowing what that model that's the biggest thing that I need to figure out now. I've learned some things in the past 6 months. Is the busier we get, the more things fall apart because I'm too involved in decision making, right? So employees, they want to do a good job. They just don't necessarily know what the expectation is. They don't have those clear processes and goals and measurables in there to say, hey, I'm doing good, I'm on task, I'm on track, I'm doing what I need to do. They're just sitting there wondering when I'm going to tell them what the hell's going on. And that's a bad place to be in, you know. And I think a lot of business owners have to come to grips with that, and I'm really struggling with it. So that's my biggest concern is figuring out how to manage those processes once I figure out what that model looks like.
Okay.
All right. So I like what you said. So I'm right there with you. These people claim to do all these big, huge numbers, but then they're at a conference and they had to put it on a credit card. You see what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
And that's not the kind of life I want to live. You know what I mean? I don't want to be right there. I'd rather have money in my bank and not do 7 million or 4 million. I'd rather do 1 million and have 200,000 or 300,000 in the bank. That's just me, right? So I guess we'll just get started there because the cash flow and the profit margin kind of helps with every problem that we have. So more times than not, we're all worried about losing that guy. Now, would we be so scared to lose that guy or an employee or two if we didn't pay for all these big marketing leads and if we didn't have so much money in advertising? Would we be afraid to turn away calls for a day or two to hire someone new? I mean, I'm not. And that's exactly what I would do if it happened. I just turn calls because I don't pay for my calls. So a lot of stuff we do, we've done home warranty and all that kind of stuff. and I actually love home warranty. That's actually my favorite. And it's not the home warranty call itself that I love. It's that 9 times out of 10, they're not going to stay with the home warranty company. They hate them, but they're almost always going to stay with you if you do a good job. So instead of spending hundreds of dollars to acquire a customer, you got the customer for free. All right. And it's an opportunity to go out there and find what a need that they have that the home warranty company's not going to cover. Most home warranty companies have a clause in there where they don't cover ductwork, or they don't cover anything IEQ wise, duct cleanings, duct sealings, UV light, ionizers, all that kind of stuff. So once you present those options to people, one, they want them and they love you for it. I think 1 out of 3 is what I sell. So 1 out of 3 people are going to buy a package from you on your home warranty call. And the profit margin is huge on your home warranty, on your IQ. Profit margin is huge. You just got to get your prices right and get your financing for it. Was somebody trying to ask a question?
No.
All right, I thought I heard something. So I already kind of went through it with Kyle, and I'll use this as an example. We used to do a lot of choice home warranty, and they're terrible, right? But well, first of all, does anyone in here? I already talked to Kyle about it, but does any of the rest of y'all, do y'all sell IEQ?
Not a ton.
Not much. I mean, you're in a perfect spot, bro. I don't like, so as a plumber, you can do it on both sides. The water filter, and that's huge. Like I would kill to have a plumbing license. If I had a
Yep.
plumbing license, I'd probably make $1 million at 70% profit margin from now back to the end of the year. No shit.
Yeah. Stuff like water treatment on our side in Phoenix is fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you sell any IEQ, Alan?
I don't, but it's
Okay,
something
that's
that
all right.
I keep coming back to. It is obviously higher margin. It
Yes,
makes
and
sense to add.
it's less trouble calls, it's less people to install it. So I give you an
I
example
want
of what
to
we
I
do.
want to add something real quick. Alan,
Yes,
I
sir.
was with you for 2 days. You really care about your customers. I know you do. IAQ will help them a lot after Lucas does his spiel about how his IAQ has helped his customers. And all of his reviews, most of them are from IAQ, not from him putting units on houses. I just wanted to add that in there because I actually hung out with you. You're the only one I actually spent time with, like person to person. And I want to go fishing with you, Kyle and Lucas. Jim, hope we get to hang out too. But I know you care about your customers. IAQ will help them a lot. I just want to add that in there. Lucas, go for it.
So I'll give you an example. It's not even my customer. This was an employee that worked here. He had a son who had Down syndrome, and there was some kind of respiratory problem that he had. It was related to the Down syndrome, and they had to take him to Children's Hospital about once every. He said every 2 or 3 weeks, right? And so I told him, I said, man, why don't you get one of our Remy's out? I said, me and my son, we're getting sick like every 2 or 3 weeks. He was at daycare. We put the Remy in. Man, we ain't been sick since, I said, why don't you try the Remy? So he puts the Remy in, and he goes from having to go down there like twice a month to 2 months later, they haven't been since he installed it. See what I'm saying? And so how can you really put a price on it, right? That's I mean, just the fact that your son ain't suffering through these doctor visits and getting shots and having blood taken and this, that, and the other. I mean, how can you even put a price? You know what I mean? So, but we buy Remy's for somewhere around the $400 range, and we sell them for $24.96, I believe. And it takes one of our technicians, takes our technician about an hour to install it himself.
What were the numbers again?
400 for the cost. It depends on where we get them. If we buy like 5 or 6, we can get them at like 380 or 390. But if we buy one at a time, I think they're 420.
And how much is a tech share?
So he gets it. We pay hourly, plus we pay what we call a spill, which is like I had to look. It's 100 or 150 on that one. I can't remember, but let's just say 150. Like run the
And
numbers
that's
on
if the
that.
tech
At
sold
150.
it or just installed it.
Sold it. So we really push for them to install it right away because it's just an
Yeah.
hour. You know what I mean? And we try not. That's another reason it works so good. We're not paying for your leads, so to speak, paying so much on marketing because it's much more manageable, and you're not afraid of a customer dropping off and calling someone else if you have to call them and push them back. You know what I'm saying? Now we try to do like a 3 hour window of arrival anyway, so we got a little leeway, you know. But just say we go over, it's not a big deal. Then, especially if it's not home warranty, it's still not a big deal. But if it is home warranty, it's no deal at all because they're not going to go through the process calling the home warranty company back to get rid of you. That'll take longer than just wait. See what I'm saying? So, and the reason we don't pay straight commission is because it's too stressful to our guys. So if they were just going to work straight commission, they just open their own business, right? They didn't have like a base salary that they were going to make. So we pay a pretty high salary. My guys make around, $25 to $30 an hour plus those bills.
Yeah. I have
So
noticed that whenever you do switch from commission, you kind of lose that sleazy high pressure salesman vibe that your company puts out. If you do a performance pay or spiffs, um, everything changes dramatically.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. You kind of see. I think we're on the same page. I think maybe I just understood it wrong. I think you get that sleazy salesman vibe when everybody's on straight commission and not
Yes.
not getting a base pay.
Yeah.
Because they're just trying,
Yes.
they're just out there trying to sell shit left and right. And I really don't like that. I've
They're
actually
selling,
fired
you get a
people for
bad
that.
company name.
Yeah. Well, and plus,
Yeah.
man, I want to treat everybody like, like they're my mom or my grandma. But I want them doing my mom that way. But I want them doing my grandma that way, you know? Now,
No.
would I have a problem with them selling my mom IEQ? Absolutely not. I actually have installed it in my mom's house. I have it in my grandparents' house. We have it in all of our houses because it works so good. So I don't have a problem at all selling IEQ because I know how it can make your life so much better. I've had numerous customers call us back and tell us, hey, my son had an asthma attack. We hadn't had to go do any kind of to the doctor for any sinus problems. It's all gone away, all that kind of stuff. So, but let's look at the margin on that. So let's say we're paying $30 an hour. Let's say the spill's 150. Let's say it takes 2 hours to do the call and install the REMI. All right, so that's $60 in labor, and then we got 150 on the spill. That's 210, and then 400 for the equipment itself. So that's 610.
610, yeah.
So what percentage is left over out of that 2496 or 67? Let's do 2400.
What was that, 75%?
Yeah. So you're at 75% margin on that call. And that's $1,800. That's $1,800 that you made in 2 hours. Not count.
Doorway right here.
James W.
The kitchen. There's one upstairs.
I thought it was me. I thought it was coming through with a different name, but it's not. Yeah.
No, it's I think he's from Louisiana, maybe.
Jacob.
James, yeah.
So anyways, you just made $1,800 in 2 hours profit. All right. But you also have the profit from whatever he made on the call itself. Say if it was a contactor or whatever, he just made another $100. All right. And that's one person. That's one person on one call. Now, if you do this a couple times a day, I mean, how quick can that add up? If you do that twice a day, right? If you do that twice a day, that's $1 million in profit a year, if I'm correct. You can check that. Because 1,800 profit times 2 is 3,600. What's 3,600 times 260 days a year? If you work 5 days a week.
36 times 200 and what?
260, I think.
$936,000.
So almost that's just shy of $1 million profit,
I
not
know.
growth. You see what I'm saying? Like that's profit after you paid your people. That's everything. You know what I'm saying? That's all. One guy can do that. Now, but let's just cut that in half and say I only do it one time a day. That one technician can still make you $500,000 profit every year. Like that's huge when you're talking when that's actual profit. You see what I'm saying?
Hey,
By most people,
Lucas,
most of the
Especially
people who scale
considering
their
something to
business,
hold you over in the off season. At least for us, we have a pretty major off season. You know, from September to or October to March, it's pretty dead. That's
yes.
a
And see, that's
dramatic
actually when we
holdover right there.
yes, that's actually when we really ramp up. That's why I hate summertime because we don't sell any IAQ in summertime because everybody's buying units. And like
Yeah.
we don't even advertise and we're still selling units. And that's just not what I want to do, you know?
Yeah, I've never
Oh,
heard an HVAC person say they hate summertime,
man,
other
I
than
do.
Lucas.
Because
Other than Lucas.
man, I'm just saying, man, like, you know, it's y'all are gonna see. Kyle's gonna experience because we've already talked more in depth about it, and I can tell he's on board. Like I'm telling you right now, Kyle's gonna love wintertime. Um, it's because you got more time to spend with the customer. You can sign them up for a maintenance program. The other thing you really need to do is get your maintenance program going. Uh, what we've started doing is the $15 a month deal membership, and man, I really like that. I'm telling y'all, I think this winter is going to be a bad winter for everybody too. So I would suggest that everybody make some kind of plans to do something for this winter. It's the election year. It's always bad, but I think uh, I just see a lot of people out of money already. I think wintertime is going to be really rough. Are
Hey,
y'all seeing
Lucas,
that
can
in
I
y'all's
ask you a
area?
question? Can I ask you a
Yeah.
question real quick?
Yes,
So one
absolutely.
of the things that we typically think about, and this is just probably a mindset thing, is we typically think of IAQ as an add-on when somebody's getting a new system, right? And so
Yes.
then you're
Yes.
limited. We're self-limiting ourselves
Yes.
on IAQ opportunities to installs one.
All right. So
So
let me
are
let me
you kind of, it sounds like you're kind of running separately promotion, or at least with a focus on IAQ as a standalone product. And
yes,
yeah, maybe
absolutely.
if you could just expand on that a little bit, that'd be great.
So what I actually like to do is I actually like just to like let's just say I had an awesome, an amazing technician come up to me and want a job, right? And I'm like, man, I got to hire this guy. What I would do is I would go out and I'd find me a home warranty company, and I would just set him up to run these home warranty calls with that company, right? The reason is I don't want to sell units. I want to acquire customers and I want to sell IQ. So, and the reason that I like home warranty is because you look at it as a paid estimate. I'm guaranteeing you, everybody on this call right now does free estimates for new systems. All right. So look at it as a paid estimate. You're going to make at least a minimum of probably $75 to come out there and check out a unit and give them an estimate on an IAQ system. And if you start looking at it that way, that's when it starts clicking and you start making money, money, money. And it's just, like I say, 1 out of 3 is the number. That's what I try to hold my guys to. That's what I used to do. Um, Now you have to equip your guys to be able to do that. You have to give them the training on the IQ. We sometimes we sell duct sealing instead of the IQ itself. You got big major duct leaks, we put all that in there. So we do push it as its own. We actually look at IQ as our units, if that makes sense. Where a lot of people like to sell a changeout, we like to sell a big IQ pack. We have one that's like 40 something $100. So that's what we try to sell, is a $4,000 package. And then we let them work down, to the cheaper one if they need to, whatever. Next week, we'll go over how I present it. And man, I'll show you how I present it. And bro, I'll actually I'll bring I'll have Brandon pull up the last call I ran. The last call I ran was actually a service call on a 5-year-old system. So that's another thing. Most techs do not like going out on a 5-year-old system, right? Because probably still under warranty. They're not going to sell it, right? And they're like, damn it, I'm going to have to work on it. They're mad, right?
I'm going to pull that
I
up, but
mean,
I'll be right back real quick. Be right back.
Opportunity.
and so went out there on a five-year-old system. And I think the call ended up being $5,100, but I gave the lady a discount. So I think by the time I left, it was $4,300. I may have showed it to Kyle or sent it over to you, told you
Yeah.
about it.
The old lady liked.
Yeah. And so, that's $4,300 on a random service call. And I think I was done in like 3 hours. And I had probably less than $600 in it. So, I do look at IEQ as its own thing, as a change out. But I will say this: when doing a change out, that is the perfect time to sell IEQ. I don't know how y'all do it. I think a lot of people do it the wrong way. They try to add it on when they sell the system. The best thing to do is to pull the system out, let them be able to see the inside of the cabinet, and then present the IEQ. Have y'all tried it that way?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's how I like to present it, because a lot of times you can see a lot of the microbial growth. You can bring the customer out there to look at it, but it is definitely a mindset thing. If you can get your mind around looking at it as a paid estimate, that's when it becomes super, super profitable. Have you run any home warranty calls yet, Kyle? This time since we spoke?
No, sir. No, we're not finished getting everything signed up with them. I just kind of did some homework on it. And then, like I said, I've been busy with the hiring and everything like that
Yeah.
and running calls. So
It takes a while it takes a week or so to get everything pushed through. Have you
yeah.
presented IEQ on your calls yet?
Oh yeah, I always have. I always have before. It's just after our conversation, I started doing it a lot more, a lot
Mm-hmm.
more on service calls, especially. Like we just talked about with new systems. We all, or most of us, tend to focus on that's our opportunity to
Oh
present the
yeah.
IAQ thing. I always present it, but before that, I was presenting it, or at least educating about it. But now I'm trying to do it every single call. I'm not going to be. That's the thing about IAQ too, is that, and it's so stupid because, geez, sorry y'all.
You're good.
I already knew this. I just didn't implement it. Just like we talked about the home warranty stuff. Like I was taking the wrong approach here. So with the IAQ stuff, I mean, you don't have to be a pushy salesman for it. You don't have to. All you have to do is educate and tell a story, like you just did about your employee. Like that's when and how I started selling it. Was my daughter. Same thing. Really bad allergies, about to have surgery and get tubes and some other surgeries done. Put in a Remy. We never went back once. I talk to and educate customers about that, and I mean, it sells itself. And then every estimate, or not every estimate, every estimate or invoice that we send will also have an additional link or options to it with Remy Halo or Remy Halo with a coil. And in the description of that line item, all of the educational stuff they need to know is in there.
Yes. So, think about that for a second. I think there's 5 of us on this call right now, and 2 of us have stories about where the Remy's have helped us drastically. You know what I mean? Like, so, I mean, if they didn't work, they wouldn't be as many of us out here talking about how they helped us. And could you really put a price on that? Think about that. You're fixing to have to put your daughter to sleep and have a minor surgery. Because I'm pretty sure, don't they put you to sleep and do tubes in your ear?
Yes, sir. I think so.
You know what I'm saying? And isn't that pretty scary for you?
We weren't excited about it. No.
That's what I was saying. Like know
But
it's minor, but you're still like, damn.
yeah,
I wish this didn't have to happen.
that one
I
thing,
mean,
yeah, and then that one thing not only cured her issues, but also most of ours, even some that we didn't know we had. I mean, I definitely did see improvements in the house. And you don't have to be a high pressure salesman just to sell that, just to explain that.
yeah. So another thing I would suggest is everyone buy a duct fogger also. Do you have one?
Yes.
All right. So what I do is I
No,
put
not
that
yet.
on
I
my
just
truck.
restarted my process to get the machine too.
I got you. So I would definitely have that on hand. We sell those for right around $400, duct fogging. And that's like our fallback. If you have microbial growth all through your cabinet and all through your duct system, and you don't have the money for the IQ and you can't get the financing, a lot of times they can afford the $400 to go ahead and get the Band-Aid. But we're upfront and honest. Hey, this is just a Band-Aid. It's not going to cure your problem. This is just to hold you over until you can afford to purchase the IQ system. And so what that does, one, that puts us in the clear. We didn't lie to them about it not coming back, because it will come back after a fogging after so long, because the problem still exists. And number two, it opens up the door to follow up with them 6 months later. Hey, are you ready to purchase that system yet? You see what I'm saying? And then also, do you do surge protectors?
Yeah, absolutely. Surge
So
protectors, float switch, and IEQ gets mentioned and attempt to sell on almost all calls.
So do you know the biggest benefit to you as a contractor? Let's say if you go behind me and I put a unit in, and you come behind me and you sell that customer a safety switch and a surge protector and whatever. Do you know the benefit to you for doing that? No, but not besides the money.
They're going to call me back.
They're gonna call you back. They're your customer now.
Mhm.
Now they trust you. You did the better job. You went to the, the further steps. You made sure their unit was protected. You made sure their house was protected. You care more about them. Like they love you now, and they're never gonna call me again. See what I'm saying?
That's why
Like
I
even
like
to the
that home
point.
warranty thing. Hey, I got to deal with
Yeah.
these installers. I'll be right back.
All
You're
right.
good, Kyle. We're actually, let's see. I have this down for 8:45, 10:45 if you're out there, maybe 11:45 if you're way out there. But I just wanted to make sure that this call was valuable for everyone. Just to make sure to remind everyone, if you're not in the Facebook group, join the Facebook group. That's where we drop like this call is recorded, and I'll drop it there. It won't be free for a long time, but since we're brand new, we just want to give out as much value as we can right now for free. So just putting it out there. But does anyone have any other questions, any objections about warranty, IEQ, or anything else they'd like to talk to Lucas about?
No, I just want to say thanks.
I'm
That's
interested.
go ahead, Alan.
I'm just interested in which home warranty companies you work with. Ones
All
that you
right. So there's the two main ones around this area, and they're probably, aren't you located in Georgia?
yeah.
They're probably the same for you. So, but I don't compare them, right? So the first one I'll mention is the one Kyle was talking about that he signed up with, Old Republic. Now they're a great home warranty company and they're going to take care of the customer. You're not going to acquire as many customers from them as you will the other guy. Because a lot of their customers stay with them because they actually take care of them. But that's okay. You still go out there and they still pay you okay money to make a repair. You still get to present the option of the IEQ because they do not cover that. Nobody covers that part. So you still get the chance of a paid estimate. The other one is like Choice Home Warranty. Now, as far as how they treat their customers, they're garbage. But that's why you want to be there, because you want to be there to help them when the home warranty company lets them down. Almost every customer we go to through Choice ends up dropping them and staying with us as a customer. I can show you customer after customer after customer that bought systems from us that used to be a Choice customer. Not to mention how many of them sell by IEQ. Another good thing about the Choice in this area, and it's probably gonna be the same for you, is that most of the people didn't reach out to Choice and buy them as a home warranty. Somehow they're in with all these builders, and when the customer goes and buys a new house, they get a home warranty from Choice for free, built into the price. So they didn't never pay Choice, so they never pay them again. They always stay with us. So you're going out to these nice houses. They're kind of new, maybe just a few years old, or maybe they're only 6 months old. But more times than not, you're going to somebody's house who has good credit and wants to take care of their house because it's not old and run down. So those are the two I would look into, but you're going to have to kind of approach them differently. One is actually a good company and one is garbage, and you just kind of got to be there to help the customer when the warranty company lets them down. Does that make sense? And Choice also has a huge bulk of work. I think you was fixing to ask something also, Jim.
No, I was just agreeing with you. Yeah.
So, throughout the week, you guys may get questions. You may want to, come and contact us. Please do. Go to the Facebook group. There's a little messaging chat bar on that group right there. Everyone will see it. If you want to be public, I would like the questions to be public, because if you have a question, most likely someone else is gonna have that question too. And my biggest goal is for us to just, again, mastermind, come together and be successful. Because I see a lot of groups. I see a lot of mastermind groups for HVAC owners, but sometimes it feels like they're just trying to they just keep moving the carrot, and they just keep trying to sell to HVAC guys. That's not what this is for. This is so that we can grow and make money together. And that's essentially what it's for. Like, I fell in love with the HVAC niche back in February, and after talking with Lucas, I realized, a lot of HVAC guys are trying to scale, but Lucas just had a different mindset to it. I'm just like, oh, that's new. I want to share it with everyone. So thanks again, guys, for being on this call. If you have any questions, again, please go in the Facebook group. I'll be dropping marketing material in there too. So if you need marketing tips, just go in there as well. But again, thanks again. Lucas, you have anything else to say?
Hey, next week we'll go over another big ticketing item. It's an upsell that you can do on almost any call, and we'll also talk about a few different ways to retain employees. Service techs.
Got it. Yeah. So next Tuesday, same time, same link, same everything. Just join how you joined today. You're going to get an invite in your email. I'm going to make this repeating so that it's there again. Again, any questions, text Lucas and I will go over it, or just like, it's very conversational. I don't want this to be us preaching at you. I want it to be a conversation. So thanks again, everyone.
Y'all have a good day.
Cool.
Hey, thanks
Have a
so
good one.
much.
Bye, guys.